What if the vitamin you take for your bones is quietly putting your brain at risk while you sleep? Every day, millions of seniors over 60 pop a supplement, thinking it's helping, but for some, it might be doing the opposite. And the scariest part? You won't feel a thing until it's too late. In today's video, we're diving into a shocking health truth that every older adult should know. As we age, it's only natural to want to protect our bones, our memory, and our energy. Supplements seem like an easy fix. But across America, a growing number of seniors are taking high-dose vitamins daily, often without realizing the hidden risks. Vitamin D, E, B6, and even niacin are among the most popular, filling kitchen cabinets with well-meaning intentions. Yet, when taken in excessive amounts, at the wrong time, or combined with common medications, these very vitamins can quietly increase your risk of stroke, brain bleeds, nerve damage, and sudden blood pressure spikes. This video breaks it all down clearly and compassionately. You'll discover which 5 common vitamins doctors are warning against, why certain supplements may be dangerous for older adults, and how specific cases of stroke and brain injury have been linked to everyday habits. But it's not just about what to avoid. We'll also explore smarter, safer alternatives like whole foods that naturally support brain and heart health, and simple steps to make sure you're getting just the right amount of nutrients without crossing the line. If you or someone you care about takes daily vitamins, this video could be the wake-up call you didn't know you needed. It's not about fear, it's about awareness and empowerment. So, if this message speaks to you, please like this video, subscribe to Senior Health Source, and share it with someone you love. A few clicks could make a life-changing difference. Let's begin with one of the most surprising culprits of all, vitamin D. Yes, the sunshine vitamin that's praised for boosting your bones, your mood, and even your immune system. For many seniors, it feels like a must-have. But here's what most people don't realize. Too much of a good thing can quietly turn into a health nightmare, especially when taken the wrong way. Take the story of Mr. Walter, a 74-year-old retired Navy veteran. Sharp, disciplined, and committed to his health, Walter followed a strict morning routine. Every day, without fail, he lined up his supplements next to his breakfast plate. One of them was a 10,000 IU capsule of vitamin D, something he'd picked up over the counter at his local pharmacy. He wasn't deficient, he hadn't been tested, but he believed that more vitamin D meant stronger bones, fewer falls, and better immunity. He couldn't have known that this habit, meant to protect him, was slowly pushing him toward disaster. One morning, his wife found him confused and struggling to speak. His right arm was limp. He had suffered a stroke overnight. The lab results stunned his doctors. His calcium levels were dangerously high, his blood pressure unstable, and his arteries, once flexible, were stiff and narrow. The root cause: vitamin D toxicity. You see, vitamin D is a fat-soluble nutrient. That means your body stores what it doesn't need, rather than flushing out the excess. And when you take it in large doses, especially over time, it builds up in your system. But the real issue lies in what vitamin D does behind the scenes. It helps your body absorb calcium from your diet. In moderate amounts, that's great for your bones. But in excess, it can lead to hypercalcemia, condition where calcium floods your bloodstream, circulating to places it shouldn't be. When calcium settles into your arteries instead of your bones, it causes them to harden. This stiffness makes it harder for blood to flow, raises your blood pressure, and sets the stage for a potential clot. Add in poor hydration and a restless night's sleep, both common in older adults, and you've just created a perfect storm for stroke while your body is most vulnerable during sleep. What makes this especially concerning is how easy it is to overdose without realizing it. Many over-the-counter vitamin D supplements in the US contain 5,000 or even 10,000 IU per capsule. For comparison, the official recommendation for most seniors is around 600 to 800 IU per day. Even some doctors suggest up to 2,000 IU if you're deficient, but rarely more unless you're under close supervision. The irony: Mr. Walter, like many seniors, was never told that 10,000 IU daily could be dangerous. There were no clear warnings on the label, no guidance about timing, and no mention of how vitamin D interacts with calcium or heart medications. He thought he was doing everything right. That's why it's so critical to be informed. If you're taking vitamin D, especially in combination with calcium supplements or medications that affect blood pressure or kidney function, it's essential to get your blood levels tested regularly. A simple 25 OD blood test can show whether you're in the safe zone or tipping toward trouble. The ideal range for most older adults is about 50 to 70 ng per milliliter. Anything significantly higher, and your risk starts to rise. And here's one more tip that's easy to miss. Take your vitamin D in the morning, not at night. Some studies suggest that taking it before bed can interfere with melatonin production and sleep quality. But more importantly, calcium levels tend to spike at night when digestion slows and you're lying flat. Combine a high dose of vitamin D with nighttime dehydration and slow blood flow, and you've just made it easier for a clot to form and reach the brain. This isn't about fear, it's about smart, safe habits. Vitamin D can absolutely support your health, but only when used with precision. The key is balance, not more. So if you're currently taking a supplement, pause and check the label. How many IUs are in each dose? When do you take it? Have you ever tested your vitamin D level? These simple questions can help prevent the kind of silent danger that changed Mr. Walter's life in one night. And while vitamin D may be the most surprising, it's not the only everyday supplement that can quietly put your brain in harm's way. Let's talk about vitamin E. This one has long been known as the heart helper. It's marketed to older adults as a natural way to improve circulation, support the immune system, enhance memory, and even protect the skin. On the surface, it sounds like a win-win, especially if you're over 60 and looking for simple, natural support. But here's what the glossy labels won't tell you. In high doses, especially when combined with common heart medications like aspirin, Plavix, or warfarin, vitamin E stops acting like a vitamin and starts acting like a drug. And not just any drug, a blood thinner. Let me share the story of Mrs. Evelyn Brooks, an 81-year-old retired librarian from Ohio, a woman who was as sharp as they come. She always had a book in her bag, she played bridge twice a week, and she took her health seriously. Diagnosed with a heart valve issue in her 70s, Evelyn was prescribed warfarin, a blood thinner that helped prevent dangerous clots. Everything was fine. Her blood work was closely monitored. Her medication dose was adjusted as needed. Her pressure was steady. Then one day, Evelyn saw an ad in a senior magazine promoting natural heart and memory support in the form of vitamin E. The capsules were labeled all natural and promised to improve circulation and boost brain function. At 800 U per capsule, the dosage was high, but that didn't alarm her. After all, it was just a vitamin, right? She started taking one each day. 3 weeks later, Evelyn collapsed in her living room with a severe headache, vomiting, and confusion. Her daughter rushed her to the A CT scan revealed the worst, a hemorrhagic stroke, a brain bleed. There was no fall, no injury. Her blood pressure was stable. The culprit? The combination of prescription blood thinners and high-dose vitamin E together. They had made Evelyn's blood too thin to clot. Even the tiniest rupture in a vessel in her brain turned into a life-threatening bleed. You see, what many people don't realize is that vitamin E, especially in doses above 400 U, functions as an anticoagulant. It slows clot formation, something that can be dangerous if you're already on medications that thin your blood. The more you thin the blood, the greater the risk of spontaneous bleeding in vulnerable areas like the brain. Hemorrhagic stroke is rarer than the ischemic kind, which is caused by clots, but it's often more deadly and disabling. It's also harder to predict. In Evelyn's case, it came out of nowhere. After weeks in the hospital, she survived, but not without consequences. She now walks with a cane. Her short-term memory isn't what it used to be, and her bridge games, they've been replaced by physical therapy appointments. She told her doctor tearfully, "I thought I was helping myself. I didn't know I was doing harm." And Evelyn's story isn't unique. Many recommended dietary if something is sold over the counter and labeled as a vitamin, it must be safe. But the truth is, supplements can act like powerful medications, especially when they interact with prescriptions you're already taking. What's more, most seniors don't need high-dose vitamin E at all. Allowance for older adults is just 15 milligrams per day, that's about 22 U. Yet many supplements on drugstore shelves contain 400, 800, or even 1000 U per capsule. And unlike medications, these high doses often come with no medical supervision. So what should you do? First, if you're on any blood thinner prescription or over-the-counter, talk to your doctor before taking vitamin E. That includes aspirin, Plavix, warfarin, and others. You may not need supplemental vitamin E at all. And if you do, lower doses, ideally from food, are much safer. Second, always read the labels. Don't just glance at the front of the bottle. Flip it over. Check the dosage. Know what you're putting in your body. Third, Focus on food sources of vitamin E. That's where your body knows what to do. Foods like almonds, sunflower seeds, spinach, and avocado offer a natural balance of nutrients including vitamin E without the risks that come with isolated high-dose supplements. Let's be clear, vitamin E isn't bad. In the right amounts, it's a valuable antioxidant, but when taken in excess, or in the wrong combinations, it can turn against you just like it did for Evelyn. And here's something else to remember. Aging changes how our bodies process nutrients. What may have been safe or helpful in your 40s doesn't always translate to your 70s or 80s. That's why vigilance and education are so important, because one small capsule can quietly shift from helping your heart to hurting your brain. If you thought vitamin E was alarming, wait until you hear about the next one, because this one wears the most innocent disguise of all. It's often labeled as a brain booster or nerve support, proudly displayed on pharmacy shelves with promises of better energy, mental clarity, and healthy aging. I'm talking about vitamin B6. At first glance, it seems like the perfect supplement for seniors. After all, who doesn't want sharper memory, better focus, and stronger nerves as they age? But what many people don't realize is that in high doses, vitamin B6 can become a silent saboteur, damaging the very nerves it claims to protect. Let me introduce you to Mr. Harold Jenkins, a 76-year-old retired truck driver from Kansas. Harold was the kind of man who believed in taking care of himself. He didn't smoke, he watched his blood sugar, and he walked every morning with his dog. But about a year ago, he started noticing something odd. His feet tingled at night. His balance felt just a bit off. Sometimes, he would reach for something on the kitchen counter and miss by an inch. At first, he chalked it up to getting old. But then came the falls, one in the backyard, one in the hallway, and finally, the worst, he slipped in the bathroom and hit his head. That's when his daughter insisted he see a specialist. When I met Harold, I listened carefully. He wasn't confused. His memory was still good, but the numbness in his legs, the tremors in his hands, and his increasingly poor balance weren't typical aging. They were neurological symptoms. So I asked him a question that most doctors overlook. Are you taking any supplements for nerve health? Harold nodded proudly and pulled out a bottle from his jacket. This stuff here, he said. Bought it online. Said it helps circulation and memory. I take 2 a day. I looked at the label. Each pill contained 100 milligrams of vitamin B6. That's 200 milligrams daily, more than 10 times the recommended upper limit for older adults. The damage was clear. Harold was experiencing B6 toxicity. Now here's the scary part. Unlike some water-soluble vitamins that flush out quickly, vitamin B6 accumulates in your tissues over time. And when levels get too high, they start to interfere with your nerve cells, specifically the protective sheath that insulates them, kind of like the rubber casing on a wire. When that insulation wears down, the signals between your brain and your body start to go haywire. That's why people like Harold feel tingling, numbness, even muscle weakness or tremors. In severe cases, it can impact memory, coordination, and balance, leading to misdiagnoses like Parkinson's, arthritis, or early dementia. And here's what's worse. The symptoms develop gradually. Most people don't connect the dots. They assume they're just aging. Meanwhile, the damage continues silently. Harold's story isn't unique. In fact, the FDA has received numerous reports over the years of seniors developing peripheral neuropathy, a painful, sometimes permanent condition after prolonged high-dose B6 use. And yet, nerve support supplements with 50, 100, even 200 milligrams of B6 per tablet are still sold freely in stores and online, often without warning labels or dosage guidance. So let's clear up a few facts. Older adults only need about 2 to 10 milligrams of vitamin B6 per day, most of which you already get from food like bananas, potatoes, fortified cereals, and chicken. The safe upper limit is 100 milligrams per day, and even that should only be approached under medical supervision. Anything above this, taken daily over time, can be toxic to your nerves. If you're taking a supplement labeled for brain, nerve, or energy, check the label carefully. B6 is often bundled in with B-complex vitamins, sometimes in megadoses that exceed what your body actually needs or can safely handle. And here's the truth. More is not better. Your brain doesn't run better on megadoses. It runs better on balance, on real nutrients, in the right amounts, from whole food sources your body understands. Fortunately, Harold's damage wasn't permanent. We stopped the supplement, and over the next several months, his symptoms gradually improved. But he still uses a cane. He no longer drives. And every time he goes down the stairs, he does so carefully, one slow step at a time. I thought I was protecting my brain, he told me once, shaking his head. I didn't know I was poisoning it. That one sentence has stuck with me, because it's not just about vitamin B6. It's about awareness, about asking questions, about realizing that just because something says vitamin doesn't mean it's harmless. So if you're watching this and thinking, that could be me or my parent or someone I love, here's what you can do today. 1. Check your supplement labels, especially anything that says nerve, energy, or memory support. 2. Know your dosage. If you see more than 10 milligrams of B6 in a daily dose, talk to your doctor, especially if you've been taking it for months. 3. Listen to your body. If you've been feeling tingling, numbness, weakness, or unexplained balance issues, don't ignore them. These could be early signs of toxicity, because when it comes to brain and nerve health, sometimes the greatest harm comes from the things we thought were helping.